Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look once again at Labyrinth, as I expect it to do very well in the current metagame. We're going to take a look at it and see whether or not it is very good. Now, I think this deck is more or less the exact same as previously, except for one less pot of Extrav for instead the one additional Coup Clock, and Chaos Angel is now in here. Realistically, the best way to play this is like triple Chaos Angel, triple Entis, double Bucephalo, double Garura, stuff like that, as well as like triple Muckraker, and things of said nature. However, I'm not playing that, so that's fine. Just throw in whatever you want. Chaos Angel, Entis, Garura, and the Bucephalo are important. Mostly just as targets, not that one, for Dogmatic Punishment. That's basically it. But yeah, let's do the quick card by card and the explanation. And yes, we're playing Floodgates because of course we are. That's just how the game works. And they're not... Okay, they're pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, let's quickly do the card by card. Starting off, we're playing 2 Coup Clock now. Honestly, having the second one has come up quite a bit, where it's just nice to have, not specifically having the second one in particular, but more so seeing this card more often. This card's very good, so it's nice to see it more often. Next up, we have, of course, the triple Stovey and the triple Chandelier, because we're not playing a myriad of Floodgates and a myriad of trap cards. We're instead playing the IKEA Labyrinth version with more hand traps and more reliance on the resource loop. Then, of course, we're playing triple Oriana just as the additional search option. We're playing one Lovely and a double Lady, pretty standard there as well. However, there has been a couple of times where actually having a second Lovely would have been useful, but it is a bit of a brick, so not really worth it. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing we're also playing the double Welcome as well as triple Big Welcome. Pretty standard as well. And then one Labyrinth. Honestly, this card comes up quite a bit. It's very, very good in the mirror match, and I think I've been undefeated thus far in the mirror match, which I've done like only a couple of times, so not really all that much, but I happen to win them all. This card's very good in the mirror match. Being able to pop an additional card is very nice, so there you go. But yeah, let's talk about the rest of the cards. We have, of course, triple Maxi, triple Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is still pretty good in the metagame, mostly due to the fact that branded, it hinders them pretty effectively, as well as it hinders specifically this deck in particular. Being able to ash something like a Big Welcome is very nice, so it's just overall a decently good card. However, this card could probably be cut for something else. Don't really know what else would be better. Maybe like Imperm, but we're already playing triple Imperm as well, so it's not like that's too great. Maybe the third Evenly, you could cut down to 2 Ash or something along those lines, but I don't know. I feel like playing the Ash is pretty nice, just as an additional way to interact with the opponent when they go first. Of course, we're playing the 2 pot of Extrav and the 1 Labyrinth. As for the rest of the traps, we're playing the 1 Compulse, the 1 Eradicator, the 1 Barrier, the 1 Dogmatic Punishment, and that's kind of it for the targets that we would get off of the Lady Labyrinth. As for the rest of the cards, I keep saying that, we're also playing 2 evenly matched. We're playing triple Imperm, and then 1 apiece of Rivalry, Skill Drain, and Gozen, all of which happen to be very good, and we can play under all of them very effectively. Skill Drain happens to be the best one, but hey, it's limited, so there you go. As for the extra deck, doesn't really matter too much, as I mentioned previously, just the ones that I've already talked about. So yeah, that's basically it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second with Labyrinth, and hey, look, it's Skill Drain, fantastic. But it is against Kashtira Punk. Hip hip hooray. So my opponent is going to do a whole lot of things, and I'm not going to commentate all of them because there is a lot, and I'm just going to speed through this. They also milled me with Kelbeck because apparently we're playing Kelbeck still, which is unbelievably funny. Anyway, they're gonna reveal a whole bunch of things. They actually end up revealing Nemesis Corridor, so I'm like, oh cool, at least we're not getting Colossus. But out comes the Zombie Vampire, activate the effect, mill additional cards. They actually, they mill my Stovey, steal it, and then make Elf. And I go, alright, cool, no, that's fine. They're gonna banish 2, grab up your boy, the Chaos Ruler, then they're gonna normal summon the Necro. I'm at this point like, oh, they're gonna make Baron. I might as well go for the card here. So I activate the effect in order to go for the Welcome Labyrinth, pitching the Big Welcome as well. This does trigger their Unicorn, so they banish the Entis, and I'm like, that's fine. They also get to banish one of my ladies, which is Annoying, but that's fine. Out comes the Bestial Magnemite. They're also going to special summon again, and then go into the IP Mask Arena and pass the turn. And grab up Druid Swarm. Cool. Fantastic. This ain't looking too good, and then I draw the evenly matched, and I'm just like, well, okay, well. I was originally just going to summon off of the Welcome Labyrinth to, like, maybe do something. I was gonna, like, threaten battle, and then they go, like, IP Mask Arena and stuff like that. And then they just decided to negate this, and now I'm like, okay. Well, now your one negate is gone, and so is your entire board. I'm gonna set 3 and pass that are gonna go for the Necro Shinobi, and at this point the game is basically over because my opponent decided to use their negate horrendously. We're going to bounce a card real quick here. Then we're going to activate a whole bunch of effects, as well as special summon out your boy, the Lady Labyrinth. Out comes the Stovey-Torby. We're going to set the Welcome Labyrinth, and we're pretty good here. They're going to banish another Stovey-Torby, and I'm like, that's fine. Out comes the Excel Synchron, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather you not Excel Synchron here. They're going to get back an additional card anyway, so it doesn't matter that they Skill Drain. And then they go for Underworld Goddess. Now, if you don't know how Skill Drain works, this thing is still negated, because Skill Drain was up prior to this card being summoned. Same thing happens with Jinzo. If Jinzo is tributed while Skill Drain is already up, the skill is drained before the card hits the field, which is kind of weird. But alas, so the effect is negated. Even though it is technically unaffected, it's still negated. I'm just going to take the damage, and I'm going to set the Labyrinth, because I'm not dead here. And this allows me to deal with the Underworld Goddess while also getting a body on the field, which is exactly what I want to do. So, yeah, there's that. We're going to go to the draw phase, draw Stovey-Torby. Sure, doesn't really matter. We're going to flip up this thing here, and then special summon with the Welcome Labyrinth. Popping the Underworld Goddess, yes, you can, because even though it technically didn't target there, again, the effect is negated due to Skill Drain. Fantastic. I'm going to activate the effect of the Lovely, as well as a bunch of other cards. Grab back the Chandelier, grab back the Stovey-Torby, and get negated because it's funny. And then I'm going to actually activate the effect of the Lovely Lady, the Lovely Labyrinth, to grab back that big Welcome. And then I'm going to tribute it off with the Eradicator to look at their hand, mostly. I'm going to call spell cards, and did you see that? Did you see that? It happened real quick, but it was, that was Driver. That was Driver in hand. That's right. Driver. Gosh, I love it. Cool. Well, I'm going to special summon it back at the Lovely, and I'm just going to walk into the guy, and I'm like, yeah, you can have this. This is fine. Just get rid of the guy. That's fine. I'll just bring it back with the big Welcome. I'm also going to go Chandelier here and set the regular Welcome, so that we have 2 pops with the Labyrinth. Out comes Eradicator, and at this point, again, the game is over. I don't really have lethal, but the game is over. We're going to special summon out to the Ariana. We're going to activate the Ariana, and then I'm also going to bounce the Ariana so that I get the guaranteed search. And at that point, my opponent realizes the writing on the wall and concedes. Alright, and here we are going first. We drew Maxi. Fantastic. You love to see it. We're going to start off here with the normal summon of the Ariana, which will get Imperm. This guy sat on that Imperm for so long, it was very annoying. But we're going to set the Welcome Labyrinth and then just set the big Welcome as well. And just pass the turn. During the standby phase, or during the draw phase, I actually do this incorrectly. Realistically, what I should do, I should say, is I should go big Welcome, special summon out the Lady. Actually, I should go regular Welcome, special summon out Lady Labyrinth. Then I should go big Welcome, special summon out Lovely Labyrinth. And then also that would trigger the Lady to set a card. So, whoops, that's bad on my part. Anyway, it's fine. We're going to bounce a card. We're also going to pop a card from the opponent's hand and special summon the Stovey-Torby. And I see Dimensional Barrier, and I go, this is 100% Labyrinth. No other deck plays this card because it's terrible in a best of 1. This is Labyrinth. So I just set the big Welcome, and I'm like, okay, this should be fine. I also hold the Maxi instead of firing it. They're going to deal with my Lovely, and I'm like, that's... Okay, well, this now becomes way worse because of Fenris. You love to see it. Now, I know what you're saying. Why are you not playing Fenris? Consistency. I really don't think that Fenris is all that worthwhile in Labyrinth in particular, because yes, it's pretty good. You know, you can get a discard. You know, it's a pretty special summon. It's disruption. It's yada yada. But I'm also like, I'd much rather have something like a hand trap. Maybe you could say Ash Blossom could be switched for the Fenrir, but honestly, it's not really worth it in my eyes. So, yeah, all in all, I just don't really feel like it's too worth it to play it in this deck in particular. Just because, like, most of the time, you kind of want an empty board anyway. or you want specifically Labyrinth monsters, it doesn't really play well with your Floodgates, and I don't know. It's kind of worth it. It's kind of not, give or take. I'm not a fan of this card. I don't want to play it. That's basically it. We're going to activate the effect of our Lady Labyrinth in response to their Big Welcome. Also in the draw phase, by the way. They're going to activate the Welcome Labyrinth in response to my Maxi as well. And then I'm going to activate my own Big Welcome. And we're going to go for the Coup Clock. Now, I know what you're saying. Why do we go for the Coup Clock? That seems kind of counterintuitive. But here's the thing. If this guy stays on the field, we get to go Coup Clock, and we get a pop card. That's the idea. They're going to bounce it. They're lovely. We're going to activate a whole bunch of things during our draw phase. Lots of things are coming back. Things are getting popped. They popped my Coup Clock. No, I needed that. That's fine. Out comes the Stovey Torby. I'm actually just going to activate the Stovey Torby because Fenris. So there you go. And that allows me to trigger the Coup Clock and add it back to hand. Fantastic. So we're going to activate the Coup Clock here and proceed to the main phase, to which I will then flip up the Labyrinth, which I set off of the Stovey Torby, which then allows me to get an additional pop off of this Welcome Labyrinth. So we're going to go and special summon out the Ariana, and then I'm actually going to pop the Stovey Torby. Now I know what you're saying. Why do we do that? Because if they do not have a trap, that lovely lady, that Lady Labyrinth in their hand doesn't do anything. And I can cleanly walk over the Lovely or the Fenrir if I need to, whichever it may be. So at this point, the best option for me, since it is my turn, is to deal with the Stovey Torby and cut them off of traps, right? They've already utilized the Big Welcome effect. Not really worried about that. At this point, just keep them off of traps, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to activate the Ariana as well as the Chandelier. So we're going to search up card, and then we're going to add back the Chandelier. Reverse order. So we're going to grab up the Welcome, since we already have the Big Welcome. I'm going to proceed to the battle phase and walk over the Lovely, because, again, Fenris, not really great into traps. So I'm just going to destroy it with a trap card, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, cool. We're going to go to draw phase, and I'm going to activate the Gozen Match, just to... For some reason, they call Earth, which is wild to me. I would have assumed they would have called Dark, but I guess it does make more sense to actually hold the Fenrir than it is to hold the Ariana. So, sure, that makes sense. They're going to go for the Maxi, to the which I will then, again, chain the Big Welcome and set Eradicator. That's right, and out comes Coup Clock from the grave. We're also going to special summon the second lady for this Eradicator. We're going to go for Ariana. We're also going to go for the Welcome, and then we're also going to pitch the Coup Clock for its effect. Out comes Eradicator. I'm going to call Trap, and I do not remember what was in their hand, but we know it was Lady and, it was Lady, Coup Clock, and a Stovey Torby. So, no, it was Chandelier. Not Stovey Torby, but Chandelier. You'll see why I remember that in a second. They're going to activate the Coup Clock and then normal summon the Chandelier, and then activate the effect of the Big Welcome to bounce the card back to the hand, and I'm like, okay, this actually doesn't accomplish anything for you, because I genuinely believe that they thought that this required you to have just a Fiend and not a level 8 or higher Fiend in order to bounce a card, which still wouldn't have been great, but like, you know, maybe you would have done something. I genuinely don't know what they were going for here, but I don't want to give this card back to them, so I'm just going to pop it. And I also get a draw with Garura. So at this point, the game is over. I draw into Ash, which is probably the best draw that it could have been. Now, granted, I can't kill them. I can't OHKO them. That's not a thing that's gonna happen. I'm playing Labyrinth. Like, realistically, I can't do that. And if I activate any of my effects, they can also special summon Lady, which becomes a problem. No, it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. But, again, it just make it more difficult to OHKO them. So, I then decide to go in the main phase 2 for this. I also don't have access to Lovely. So do keep that in mind. I do not have access to Lovely here, whereas they very clearly do. So I'm already at a disadvantage in that regard, but at this point, I think that the game is over, so we're going to cycle a whole bunch of cards and just going through the motions. And they top deck, quite literally, the best card that it could be, Pot of Extrav. And I'm like, oh no, good thing I have Ash. If I did not draw this Ash off of the Garura, I would have lost the game. Probably not really. But it would have been more of a game. My opponent concedes there and realizes that the game is over. So, yeah, cool, good game. Alright, here I am, once again, going second. I know that this deck prefers to go first, but honestly, this deck also does very well going second. So they're going to start off here and reveal that they're also on Labyrinth. Some of my best games were on Labyrinth, or in the mirror match, so there you go. We're going to go for the Sylvie Torby, and I'm actually going to pitch the Imperm here, because it just makes more sense to pitch the Imperm, because it's not really going to do a whole lot here. Out comes the, well, Gamma. Okay, well, that kind of sucks for me. However, I'm not going to Ash this, because I do need the Ash. And we have the Ariana, so I'm feeling pretty good here. We're going to just set the big welcome, banishing the Gamma, so we don't have to deal with that, and draw into a second Ariana. Honestly, sure, whatever. I'm going to grab Labyrinth, and at that point, my opponent's going to go for punishment. I'm going to activate the big welcome, they're going to activate their own lady, and I'm going to go, okay, that's fine. Out comes my Lovely. We're going to activate the effect of the Lovely. They're going to then chain their big welcome, and of course, I'm going to Ash that. That leaves them on basically nothing with just a lady. Now, granted, I can't deal with the lady, but that's fine. We do have Ariana, and I'm feeling pretty good. We do pop the Imperm as well. I'm then going to reset the big welcome. We're going to activate the effect of the Labyrinth. And at this point, the game is over, because it's just the lady. It's just a little lady, right? I got very lucky with the fact that they didn't really have much. But alas, here we are. We're going to start off with the Welcome Labyrinth. They're going to activate the big welcome in order to prevent themselves from being popped, but at this point, the game is over. I get to pop one of theirs because I happened to have both of these, and then I also get to pop the card in the hand because a card left the field due to a normal trap effect, and so, yeah, again, the game is over. I get to rip a card out their hand. They don't really get to do anything, and then it passes back to me, and I get more advantage, and then, yeah, cool, good game. There you go. That showcases the incredible strength of Labyrinth and how it functions, hopefully. So, this deck is really still well positioned in the current metagame, especially with how open the metagame currently is, with basically no deck being at the top, and no one actually being able to prepare for this deck in particular. Sure, there's like a Kashtira, and there's Branded, and there's more Kashtira. Dear Lanta, stop playing Kashtira, it's really not that good, and it's so frustrating to play against. But even with all of that being said, I still think that this deck is very, very strong, and it's very fun to play. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's a trap deck, and because it plays traps, and because they don't like traps and the way that traps work, and so because of that, they're not liking Labyrinth because it plays traps, and look, I get it. We don't like traps, okay? I understand. I do. I really do. I don't, actually, because it's dumb, because it's all normal traps for the most part, except for this one, which is dumb cards, which we can agree on. That's fair. That's fine. But that's not what Labyrinth is half of the time. Yes, it does hand loop you, technically. But it's doing it mostly on your turn, and only with, like, particularly good hands, right? The problem, I think, with Labyrinth is the high roll, which I think is fair. You know, most decks when they high roll is annoying. But in all honesty, most of the time, it's just control. You know, it's out resource looping. That's all it's doing. It's just generating more resources than you, which is frustrating, right? But all in all, this deck is incredibly fun to play, and is incredibly rewarding for the better player, because you actually get to utilize your resources properly, and understanding your opponent's deck allows you to more easily and more efficiently understand what it is that you need to go for. Is it going to be better to go for Eradicator, or maybe you want to go for Dimensional Barrier? Maybe it's even better to set something like a Big Welcome, and then utilize that Big Welcome to just grab a lady, or an Ariana, or something like that to hand. You know, it's a lot of these smaller decisions that really do make a big deal in Labyrinth, and that actually make you the better player, which I thoroughly enjoy in a metagame so dependent on the coin flip and the die roll. It feels so nice to play a deck that, while isn't great going second, still has legs going second, especially with evenly matched Dear Lanta this card. But even without that, is still very strong, and I like that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.